Hey, hi, welcome back to my channel, Madhur's Tech Jam, where we showcase most of the innovative and exciting people of this testing community. So today we have with us Rahul, who is a blogger and a speaker. So let's welcome Rahul, and he'll be, introducing himself. Yeah. Hey, hi,
Hi
Rahul. Welcome to
Sonali.
the channel. Yeah.
Hi. And hi everyone who's watching this. Interesting initiative by Sonali, who is kind enough to spend a lot of time, energy, and her resources to bring out a lot of content on software testing for people. So let me introduce myself. I'm Rahul Parwal. I'm a software tester by profession and also by heart. So I love software testing at my job and even when I get off the job. I started my career as a developer, but then essentially switched to automation testing, test automation space. I used to develop frameworks, and then I got introduced to testing as a craft. I started learning from folks like Dr. Kem Kainer, Ajay Bala Murugadas, and so on. And I got really curious about testing. I got really passionate about testing. I started to like it, and I would say that it's something that resonates with who I am as a person. So I was always curious. I was always questioning people. I always wanted to learn more, advocate for things, and be persuasive, communicate well. So I think testing found me, and then I found it, and this has been an awesome journey.
Oh, nice. That's nice. So, coming to your initial journey, Rahul, from where did you started and how did you mentioned that you moved from developer to testing. How did this transition came and what was your, what actually attracted you towards testing?
Okay, so this transition essentially came in a very subtle way. So, there were no pointers in which this was happening, but when I look back, there were always pointers where this was happening.
Mhm.
So, I joined my first job with iGate. So, I got recruited with iGate, and then iGate was acquired by Capgemini. So, I went to Capgemini and I got into .NET developer training. So that's how I my training as a developer started,
Mhm.
and it was an awesome training. 3 months, loved it. I think it's for people who have started in service industries and have gone through such training. So it's one of the wonderful time of your
Mhm.
career. And after that, I got into a project where my role was to develop PMO stuff. So PMO is project management and operations. And there was an account for testing where I think 200 or 200 plus testers were there. And they wanted to automate some of their processes. They wanted to develop some applications to manage the things for the account. So they got me into that project, and I used to create applications in .NET. I recall I used to create a lot of macros and then web applications and so on,
Mhm.
and that's how it was going on for I think 1 or 1.5 year. After that, there was a project that came in that account where they wanted somebody with C sharp experience. So
Correct.
essentially, the customer wanted was or the customer was starting an agile engagement. They wanted pair programming, and they wanted to onboard testers who also knew C sharp because their dev team was in C sharp. And then, like even today, when we find out, we try to look for testers with C sharp background or expertise. It's pretty less, and back then it was more or less. And then they approached me that would you like to take this assignment. It's just like development, but then you have to automate. So you have to use your programming skills to automate and to create a framework. And
Mhm.
initial part of it was a lot of like core development. Developing utilities, frameworks, and all those things is pure development.
Right.
But then you cannot just keep doing that. You have to then essentially, once you are in a project, you have to contribute at script level and so on. It was mostly checking work that I used to do. And then I went to IFM,
Mhm.
and I was learning about testing, learning about automation, and so on, and like a lot obsessed with tools. But then I started joining communities, and that was the point when I started meeting testers outside my job, and
Oh.
even outside India, and testers from all across the world. And then I
Mhm.
used to hear their discussions, listen to them. I used to join meetups, And then a totally different game or a picture of testing got opened to me. I really started learning about it. And that's the moment I realized that I absolutely resonate with this thing. So that was like how the transition went, like from dev to automation to testing. I mean, and I even do like automation, but testing as a craft, I realized pretty late. So that's something I wanted to share.
Right, right. It's actually a craft, we have to look out in and out in our product. So, right. And did you ever try to moving back to a developer role again, or you were comfortable in automation and you thought, yeah, this is what you were looking for?
So when I was as a when I was working as an automation tester with Capgemini, and then I was looking for switching jobs, I essentially gave both the interviews.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to give interviews even for a .NET developer, it's like
Mm-hmm.
2 year, 3 year experience, and also for automation tester with C# experience.
Okay.
So that was the time when I was considering both possibilities. But once I joined IFM, and then I think after joining IFM and 6 months later, COVID happened, and then I joined community. So after that, I never thought about like going back to dev space.
Okay.
So yeah.
So coming to your recent role, what is that you are doing in IFN?
Okay, so currently at IFM, my role is a tester, and I test systems or applications related to IoT. So that's an Internet of Things. So IFM is essentially works on industrial automation,
Mhm.
and we are working towards the goals of Industry 4.0. We are developing our own internal IoT protocol. So that's IFM IoT protocol, and then an implementation of that is in .NET, so which is IFM IoT Core.NET. That's open source, so that's also available on GitHub. And I am one of the tester for that project, and like for applications around IFM IoT Core. So that's something that I do, which involves a lot of hardware or sensors, controllers, and we also do automation for these hardware in loop processes, like turning off devices through programmatic power supplies and all. So
Mhm.
that's a totally different thing than what I used to see automation back when I was with Capgemini, which was purely on software. So
Mhm.
this one is different.
Right. So it requires a lot of adaptability as well for a QA. You can have to move from in different domains. You have to adapt to the technologies that the developers or the other team members are utilizing over there. So currently you're working in IoT. So that is completely different from what a normal software testing people would have been doing. So it requires a lot of learning as well, right? When you're moving
Yes.
from domains to domain. So
Yes.
how excited are you in future? Like, have you decided that you'll stick to this domain, or are you ready to explore even more domains and more areas of the tech stacks?
Okay. So two points. I mean, I think two sub questions that you asked. First, how do you see this continuous hopping and learning from domain to domain, and that
Mm-hmm.
this thing that happens? So for me, I mean, testing is learning.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
when I talk about testing, it means learning. Testing is learning. Testing is learning about a product through exploration, experimentation, experiencing the product through questioning, modeling, sense making, and I do all of this, and that enables my learning. So I enjoy learning. I enjoy learning new things, and tools help me a lot. So mental models help me a lot. So first thing is that. Second thing is that. Uh, how do I see that like I want to stick in this domain, or I want to explore more domains? I mean, for me as a tester, what I think is that we don't need domain specific testers. I think we need testers who can learn every domain very quickly,
Right.
and who can apply their testing skills, their
Mm-hmm.
test craftsmanship skills to the domain.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
it's like I mean, a good detective, or probably a good lawyer who understands the frameworks, the legal constitution systems,
Mm-hmm.
and could apply that knowledge, or could apply those concepts to solve problems for customers, no matter, I mean, from which domain they come,
Exactly.
and they could adapt and go deep in wherever they want to. But of course, at one time they will go deep in one or two things, but then they should be able to do that.
Yeah, right. 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 Makes sense. Okay. So, in this industry, what I have observed is like in your organization where you're working, yeah, there are a lot of webinars which are holding on related to development stuffs. Again, development or DevOps. Even nowadays, there is a lot of webinars going on for DevOps. Those webinars are encouraged a lot within the organization as well. You'll be seeing a lot your managers to pushing you to go and attend those webinars or any events, any such events. But as for the QAs, there is no such encouragement to attend such events from the organization level, from the company where you're working for. So how do you see it, and how are you encouraging your juniors to attend such things, and even creating awareness for such webinars or events? Because this is what I have seen in this industry, being in this industry from almost 7 years now, I haven't seen any such awareness which is being created on any platform for the testing community. So I think it's high time now. We need to change this. We need to create more and more awareness about these things.
Yes,
How is
yes.
your take? What is your take on this one?
Okay, so my take is first thing, I mean, we are doing this podcast. We are talking about testing. We should do more of this. We should invite more. We should share more of this. So, anybody watching this, please share this podcast with your friends.
Mhm.
And if you think that they are not aware about testing webinars, please share more such videos. Please share the channel via Sonali to them. Second thing is, your point is pretty correct that a lot of focus is around buzzwords. For
Mhm.
example, DevOps could be a buzzword, or generative AI could be a buzzword.
Right.
Blockchain was a buzzword 1 or 2 years back, and even today. Now, despite buzz, I think the core concepts and the fundamental truths remain the same, which help people progress and produce great quality software. The basics of the game are always the same.
Mhm.
Now, we have to, I mean, if you see that the basics of the game are not being talked about, you have to start talking about themselves. So it's on the lines of taking responsibility.
Mhm.
So I take responsibility of my job, my upskilling, but at the same time, I also take responsibility that whatever I can do from
Mhm.
my level for the craft, I will do. So there was a time when I used to say that testing related sessions are not happening much, and like when they happen, they are mostly around Selenium or some tool or API. But what about core testing concepts or craftsmanship or bug advocacy for that matter? And what I started doing was that I started learning all of these concepts, and
Mhm.
then I started delivering small sessions. I mean, so that, I mean, even for me to talk about them remains comfortable. So I started inviting people for a 15-minute session, 20-minute session, 30-minute, then move to 1 hour. And that's why if you see a lot of the topics which I talk about a lot on, not a
Mhm.
lot of people talk about them. For example, bug advocacy, for about exploring requirements, for
Mhm.
about thinking of micro tools to boost your efficiency in testing. I mean, looking beyond the GUI automation,
Right.
or I mean, what is craftsmanship? So a lot of my blogs are on topics which I feel people don't talk about, but I should talk about them. So
Mhm.
that's one reason why I even go to communities to see like what people are talking. And whenever I see like something new coming up, I try to write a blog on that. I try to put a perspective thought or
Mhm.
try to experiment around with that. So I think it's more on the lines of taking responsibility. Good thing is lot of people are doing it now. So I mean, if I see it compare career, it was very low. Used to who had started their career, for example, 15 years back, there were no scope. So I have talked with my mentors, and they tell me that there was a time when they used to meet in malls to
Mhm.
exchange testing magazines back in 2006 7. So that was the time, I mean, that the testing folklore, the things were not available, access to internet was limited. Today
Mhm.
everything is there.
Right.
Even content creation is easy. There are multiple platforms. So I think
Mhm.
we should not restrict ourselves, and once we start doing that, I think more people will connect and engage. So I mean, that has personally happened with me,
Mhm.
and I found a lot of folks who talk to me on a very continuous basis through LinkedIn, Twitter, through DMs, I mean, and communities. So talk about it, and thank you for talking about it and inviting me.
Thank you so much. So you said that you are doing such webinars and also on which platforms, and is there any live events that you are doing, or where exactly is it happening?
Okay, so essentially, my first offline event or live event would happen in July. That is TribeConf with the Test Tribe. So that's the first
Okay.
time I'll be doing it in Bangalore with the Test Tribe, and they have a fantastic lineup of speakers. So people interested, check that out. Second thing, for webinars, I usually post and update about like whatever webinar I'm doing through my LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, Twitter, that's my feed for that. I'm trying to make a section on my website where I could just post upcoming webinars or plans, but still work in progress. But
Mhm.
probably, hopefully, would get that done soon. And yeah, I mean, community spaces are a good place to talk about things. So yeah, that's, and I constantly apply for conferences whenever I want to share a new idea. So through conferences also I apply and
Mhm.
share such stuff.
So you mentioned the test drive, right? What is it, and what exactly, or where did you even come to know about it?
Okay, so I came to know about the test drive through one testing friend who
Mm-hmm.
was part of it. So they told me that this is something called the test drive. I checked out their website and it was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty cool. It was like we care about testing, and I saw a lot of like their videos on YouTube which like felt really amazing, like nobody was doing that, so it was like a fresh air.
Okay.
And then I started attending their webinars, and then I started watching some of their videos on their YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
And then I mean it was fun. So I mean initial 3 to 4 or 5 months was like that. And
Mm-hmm.
when I used to watch their videos, I used to make mind maps, and I used to tag them that thank you for this video and this is my summary or take on this mind map. And
Mm-hmm.
3 months later, when they did their online conference test
Mm-hmm.
flicks, they invited me to create mind map of all the 107 sessions.
Oh, nice.
And I created one mind map for every session,
Mm-hmm.
and we collated that with
Mm-hmm.
a summary, and we made a 350 page ebook.
Okay.
That's also available on the test drive website or my website
Mm-hmm.
even today. And that was how I got even introduced to content creation. So
Oh.
content creation through mind maps, and I mean, and by making those 107 mind maps from different testing topics, I really learned a lot. And I had a lot to talk about, because to create a mind map, you have to watch a video 2 times, 3 times, and you have to
Exactly.
understand it, and then you have to get it reviewed from somebody that is my understanding correct, because now this is going to go in a ebook.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my journey with test drive. I mean, how it started, but after that we did multiple engagements, ask me anything sessions,
Mm-hmm.
Instagram live, uh, conferences, hackathons.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, and community stuff. I recently did a course. So one of my course recently came out, which is also with the test drive, which is
Mm-hmm.
on bug advocacy and beyond.
Okay.
So this is like a constant journey, and they are doing awesome stuff.
Okay. Okay. So what is this bug advocacy all about? What have you covered? What topics have you covered majorly?
Okay, so testing is a social process.
Okay.
We deal with people involved, developers, managers, BAs, scrum masters. Developers are often overcommitted, managers don't want to, something bad happens, and you have to communicate that news. That bad could be a bug, a critical bug, or showstopper, or
Mm-hmm.
you just want to make a enhancement request. So now, how to talk about all this, and how to be persuasive, how to communicate effectively in an influential manner, how
Mm-hmm.
to talk about irreproducible bugs, corner cases, which are often like just put out, I mean, and or rejected, that these are corner, these are edge cases, we don't want to talk
Mm-hmm.
about it. So how to talk about that, how to make people realize that what's valuable, and use all that information to help team make better decisions. So
Mm-hmm.
like how advocates enable better judgment in quotes, a good bug advocate or a good tester would enable good decision making for teams. So it's not also on the lines of like uh, getting all bugs fixed, but like helping the team make active decisions around what are the right bugs to fix.
That's a
And
really
these are
fresh.
the topics that I've covered in this bug advocacy course.
That's a very fresh take on testing.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Nice. So you also mentioned that you have done a lot many ebooks as well. So
Mhm.
what are they and where are they available, please?
So most of my ebooks are available on Leanpub, and they're all the link to them. So essentially, if somebody goes on Leanpub, searches my name, they would find that.
Mm-hmm.
Or you go on my website, that is testingtitbits.com. You'll find that on the homepage, link to all the ebooks.
Mm-hmm.
And ebooks are around testing foundations. There is one ebook on bug advocacy also. Then there is an ebook on ultimate productivity toolkit, where we have compiled 365 micro tools that can help testers be more productive. Then there is a ebook what changed. So it's more on the lines of a personal transformational kind of a ebook. Then there is a ebook on this TestFlix conference,
Okay.
which I was talking about, this 365 page, a lot
Mhm.
of mind maps. Similarly, there was a FailConf conference for which I did a similar work, mind maps and ebook on that. Then there is a ebook on like book summaries. So there were like an ebook where like there are 25 testing book summaries and 25 other personal productivity book summaries. So
Oh,
it was created as a part of Happy Book Reading Club, of which I am a part of.
mhm.
So these are, I mean, some of the books that I have written. I mean, you can find that list on my website.
Okay, okay, that's really nice. Okay. So, Rahul, one more thing. Initially, when actually I had joined my career, I had started my career. So I was working with a service-based company where it was mandatory to do ISTQB and C sharp certifications, right? So in today's world, what do you feel like are these certification? Is it, really, does this really attract any new opportunities? Or even in a current role, do you feel that doing such certification, is that going to help you anyhow? Or is it
Mhm.
just the, a real time knowledge? Do you feel like even just having the real knowledge, practical knowledge of these certification that you are doing, is that enough for in the current scenario?
Okay. I'll give you my perspective on this. Like if you think that somebody would like it,
Mhm.
first you would have to like it.
Right.
So for example, you cook something, you
Mhm.
cook a dish, and you are thinking that will people like it, or will like people respect me for it. You have to first taste it and see how you find it. So
Mhm.
I want to share what I find really exciting.
Okay.
I find exciting if I see somebody sharing a portfolio with their resume, that this is a portfolio of my work. These are the open source projects where I have done, raised bugs, change requests, or I've contributed to. I'm a coder. This is
Mhm.
my GitHub portfolio.
Right.
Or these are the blogs I have written. This is the
Mhm.
contribution. These are hackathons I have played, or X, Y, Z. I mean, different kind of things. You
Right.
could, I mean, if somebody wants a reference, check it out on my website. I've posted a lot of things. For
Mhm.
example, such kind of discussions. I mean, have you ever done such discussions?
Mhm.
Now, certification, what I see them is a thing of the past. Why? Like in past, it was not easy to create portfolios. There was an entry barrier. So you needed a body like who could certify that we know that this person is better. But today you
Mhm.
can self-certify yourself. I mean, your work could be
Right.
there just by a click. I could see it.
Mhm.
And your portfolio is your visible record. I mean, you got to know through me, not through any certification that I did. You
Exactly.
got to know about me through my profile.
Right.
You saw that, you would have found that something, probably I could talk with Rahul. So
Mhm.
that's what I think, and that's something that I encourage people, that
Right.
stop limiting yourself to certifications. Even
Mhm.
stop limiting yourself to text resumes. Make video resumes.
Right.
Make something creative. Make a mind map resume or anything. So
Mhm.
and one thing that I've seen, I mean, and even I shortlist candidates for interviews, like for my organization. I've done that for the past couple of years. And like a portfolio pushes your chances 100 times ahead of a resume. And I mean, if you really care about adding value or giving some kick to your career, I mean, think on those lines. So that's what I would say.
Right,
So
exactly. That's the scenario has completely changed from last 5 years, I believe. It's more on what you can actually portray yourself and how you're showcasing your projects. So that's the main thing that gives the importance nowadays. That's true.
yes.
You have mentioned about hackathons, right? That you have participated in hackathons. You are encouraging people to participate into one. Are there any testing related hackathons there in the market? And if yes, where are they?
So I mean, last week only there was a hackathon going on by Context QA.
Okay.
What I
Mhm.
encourage people to do is on social media. Social media is an awesome tool if you use it in the right way. For
Mhm.
example, you can follow hashtags. What I
Right.
have done, I've followed on hashtag testing hackathon. So
Okay.
anytime a new testing hackathon comes, that comes on my feed.
Mhm.
And this is a
Okay.
very small trick. You have to just search for this keyword, hashtag testing hackathons, follow it on Twitter, follow it on LinkedIn. You'll start getting feed from that. And there are always hackathons going on in the testing space now. I mean, this has really got traction,
Mhm.
and Test Tribe does it, and a lot of other communities are also doing it.
Mhm.
So go for that. I mean, and it could be even a testing contest. So I mean, there are different kind of things. So try experiencing them
Right.
and learning about them, or follow me. I always, I mean, whenever I get to know about any hackathon, I share it on my profile, because I think this is something that can enable testers to collaborate with other testers throughout the world and
Mhm.
learn from them. So it's very important. And yeah,
That's a
follow
really good
hashtag.
hack. Yeah. That's a really good hack to follow the hashtags. And obviously, people like you can, deliver a lot of things over social media. So it will help
Yes.
a lot to follow such people. Nice. I've also seen that you are advisory on RST. Can you elaborate more on what is this RST and how did you even came to know about it?
So RST stands for Rapid Software Testing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a testing methodology created by James Bach and Michael Bolton. So
Okay.
two of the big names in the software testing industry, highly, I mean, huge impact, and they have contributed a lot to the community in general and to
Mm-hmm.
the craft in general. And for people who don't know about it, for I mean, if you have heard about the term exploratory testing,
Mm. Yeah.
so the pioneers of exploratory testing is James Bach and Dr. Kem Kainer. So I mean, James Bach is that person that
Okay.
who has like talked about the basics, fundamental pillars of the craft. Now, what I am there, so I am a peer advisor there. So essentially, a peer advisor is like a class assistant in simple terms,
Mm-hmm.
who engages with the class, who helps the fellow people who have attended the class, students, and so on. So that's my role at RST. And James was kind enough to get me as a PA, so I could attend his sessions, his courses, and then contribute there. So it's a good learning journey, and you really get to learn the craft. And RST is not a theoretical kind of a course. It's very much hands-on. So you're given exercises, you have to do it, you have to do product modeling, you have to write bug reports, and those get evaluated in real time. So it's real cool. I have put an experience report on RST on my blog. So if somebody wants to check that out, do check that out. Yeah.
That's so one more thing, Rahul. So you have been doing a lot of things like webinars, blogging, and your job. So how are you balancing your time between all of these stuffs?
Okay. So essentially, like I get this question a lot, and that's why I even like written about it. But when you look at it at 1,000 feet distance, you'll see or you'll feel that like he's doing everything at once. I mean, he's creating
Mhm.
course, writing blog, webinar, and so on. But essentially, all of these have been like in bits and pieces.
Mhm.
So like doing what is giving you natural energy or giving you more natural instinct. I like
Mhm.
doing that. Second thing is like I try to follow my creativity. So like when my creativity tells me something, so I mean there have been times when I've posted on things like pretty late in the night or so on. So I mean I try to capture ideas, try to capture field stones. So whenever I get an idea, I just make a note of it and I act on it later on. So I mean, you keep on getting ideas throughout the day, but important part is take notes. Is my family. So that enables me to do a lot outside my work and natural responsibilities. So my parents are pretty supportive. A lot of credits goes to them. And next thing is that I've learned a lot of good concepts from the book Almanac of Naval Ravikant.
Okay.
So essentially one thing is like uh, that you have to identify what you are good at and then do that. And like another concept that I want to share, which I personally follow, is no 0 days. So I mean, like, not all days will be good, not all days will be very positive, smiling. There will be some days which will take a lot of energy from you, that will be dull, you'll feel demotivated and so on. But the concept of no 0 day means that try to give minimum 5 minutes, at least 5 minutes, to what you want to do. So for example, my thing is testing. I like make sure that no matter what goes wrong, I give at least minimum 5 minutes, and that lets me be on the track. I mean, that doesn't let me break that flow, and that flow is continued. And like, people talk a lot about compounding,
Right.
like how you have to invest early and it compounds, but people rarely talk about compounding in learning, compounding in passion, and I mean, all these things really compound. So you have to be consistent, you have to do those SIPs, like small investments of passion, and then I mean, that takes you ahead. That's what I have like experienced, and what has worked for me.
It is again a really nice take, SIPs, on your learnings and all. So that's nice. So one last question, Rahul. What do you advise to the young QAs in the IT industry? How should they, project their career? What should be their path?
Okay, so for young folks, 0 to 3 years is what I think is young, or 0 to 2 years. Learn everything. I mean, just learn everything. Don't restrict your learning that I will only learn automation, I'll only learn Java, I'll only learn Selenium. Don't restrict yourself. Learn from everybody. I mean, learn like writing skills, email write. If you find anything good, like, try to learn that. If you see that somebody has sent a good email, try going talking to them, that how can I write such good emails. I mean, if you see somebody doing a good webinar, talk to them, how could I improve that. If you have a stage fear, try to give small sessions, 15-minute sessions. Try to talk in stand-ups more. Try to turn on your video. I mean, small things. uh, Learn, project. I mean, whatever work you do, just do that. I mean, don't put your too much mind and soul into that. I just want to do XYZ, and because of I wanted to do XYZ and now I'm getting ABC, I'll not do anything. Because I mean, limiting your view at the start of your career can be pretty destructive. I've seen this trend in new generation, but not good. Next thing is that like, follow some hobby. I mean, be creative. I think one thing where I went wrong was that I was not like pursuing my hobbies when I went into IT. So I mean, everything was new and I was settling into new place. And I think your hobbies will like keep you charged up, and
Right.
that's important. Forget about money. Just forget about money. Focus on learning, because at the small stages of your career, your experience is the money that you get. I mean, so build that experience. And I think, I mean, new generation is what I mean. I was just giving an internship to school kids last week, and what I realized was that new generation is really smart. So you have to be great at work. I mean, it's just small here and there that you need to focus on, and I mean, you will get success very easily.
That's really nice. It was nice talking to you, Rahul. Thank you so much for being on this podcast. I hope the viewers have got a real good insights from his journey and from his learnings. So thank you so much again. Uh, Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe this. And also follow Rahul on LinkedIn and do follow his blogs on testing tidbits. Uh, Till then, see you again in my next podcast. Bye bye. Bye,
Bye.
Rahul.
Bye.